And we're going. And I'm going to make sure this is starting. Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hopefully we're actually recording. We've done this before. That's happened before. So, this morning we have two farmers from, Yellow Cottage Farms, right? We've got Susie. Introduce yourself, guys. Go ahead.
I'm Susie Kerr, one of the owners at Yellow Cottage Farm.
My name is Cody Burrows. I'm farm manager at Yellow Cottage.
All right, so today we just kind of wanted to chat a bit about, farm stuff. We've heard a lot of feedback from people going, no, we really kind of like those videos. They're very informative. So, yeah. How was the commute this morning? Because that was a little bit of a drive.
It was awful. We got stuck all the way downtown.
Yeah. That's the funny thing people don't realize, because we live here in the Gulf Coast in League City, suburbanite, right off of Houston, in its city, right? And people always go, we want local food, local. It's grown right here in League City. Okay, so do you know what farmland costs right here in the city? Any city. If you want acreage, you're gonna pay, right? So our local farmers are just a little bit further out so that they can get acreage that's affordable.
Right.
And people don't always understand that,
Right. 4 years ago we lived in League City, and we were looking for more land so that we could have more crops.
Yeah.
And, we moved out to Livingston at that time, and then Cody came around, and now he's cultivating area I haven't even.
See, that's awesome when you have help.
Right.
That's awesome.
But the experiences that he's had, it's just been really amazing. But this is our third farm, just trying to get enough of the land that we needed to produce the crops to make.
Right. I think it takes more space than people realize too. They don't really understand. Oh, I just want local food and I want broccoli. Well, let's talk about how much space that takes.
Right.
And how much time it takes for the broccoli to come up.
But it can be done. People like Curtis Stone, who Susie's introduced me to, he's called the urban farmer.
Right.
So that's all he does.
Yeah.
There's been a renaissance of that, or I don't know if it's ever happened before, but I mean, people are doing that more now than ever.
Yeah.
Finding old lots in places where they can grow just a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Just to supply a market or a small CSA, whatever it may be, and they're making that work. So people can do it. They can make it work.
Right.
Driving from Livingston 50, 60 miles north of Houston, coming down through 59 all the way to the south side of it.
Yeah.
Seeing the mess in the morning
that
everybody has to
morning.
contend with. It would be nice if we could be in an urban setting and not have to deal with those kinds of issues, because we're dropping off stuff for you here this morning that we're bringing.
So the co-op had a little plot maybe 5 minutes from here in Dickinson that one of our farmers owned the land. He owns a couple of houses that he rents, and one of them is a house lot with no house on it. And so he had always gardened it and farmed it, a house lot, so maybe a fifth of an acre, maybe a fourth, maybe, all organic, and he couldn't keep up with that when he expanded his farm out of Santa Fe, which is again 20 minutes from here because there's the acreage, right? He let us take it over to garden it and farm it, and it was great. It was just challenging because there's no water. So getting water is huge for anything. We tried putting up standalone, almost like a tent where we could harvest water off of, and that worked for a little bit until it collapsed, because that's what happens. There is a house that he owns next to it, and so we finally put up a rain barrel system there, but then getting water from there over to the garden was a little issue because we had to go by the driveway that they always would drive over. So there are all these little things that people don't think about. It's totally doable. We did it for years. We've only recently, the past 2 years, not had the ability, the help to go out there and keep that going, and so we've changed it a bit to backyard gardeners. But it just takes a little more work and intention, I think, to think it through.
Oh yeah, those limitations definitely set you up, which can be a bad thing or a good thing depending on how you work around those limitations. So.
Yeah, right, for sure. It's I'm actually in the process of purchasing a house with a little bit of land that is maybe 20 minutes from here in Bay Cliff. So again, the whole reason for going outside of the city that I love so much is because I wanted a little more acreage that was in a price range I could afford. So currently, the space that I have to work with is something that we rent, so we can only do so much modifications to it. And we garden it like crazy. The poor dogs just have enough room to go between the rows, right? And we get a surprising amount of food there, but I feel like we needed to go further, bigger, deeper, on a bigger level, because it's not just for the family, you know? Yeah, that's the hard part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So people don't always realize just how far their food travels to get to them, I think.
Right.
I mean, just conventionally speaking.
Well, you were talking about, local as in League City. I was listening to some stuff in preparation for this, which I didn't do a lot of, but somebody was saying 400 miles is considered local. You know?
Yeah, I think there's a tier that they have. I think there's 3 tiers to it, and I'm trying to remember, so it's been a while since I've seen these numbers. Used to be 50-mile range or less is one tier, and then maybe the next tier was something like 150, and then the furthest out was 300. But now they've extended it to 400 miles to be considered local, which is interesting that we're having to kind of push it just to get the food, to find it. We're going to call that local, you know?
Right.
And so what does that say about what we're having to do with our definitions just to say, okay, but we can call that local, and now everyone will know. Because how many people know the little tiered system? 50 miles, that's local. When they're thinking literally, well, League City right here, my backyard, right? That's what, 10 miles down the road, 5 miles, maybe 5, right? And that's what they think.
That says that there aren't a lot of people doing this kind of work. That's what that says.
Exactly.
To have to kind of extend that definition.
I actually heard a statistic just the other day on a podcast that the average age of a farmer right now in the U.S. is like 58. 58 is the average age. So we got some that are older, and then a few younger people coming in, and that's all farming. That's not organic only. That's all farming. And that age has actually been growing and it used to be like maybe 8 years ago, the average age was 50, and now it's 58, and we just keep pushing it. Because
less people are getting involved with it.
Less people are getting involved in it, and why? I mean, you're in it, so if you had to guess,
it's hard work. And you have to get up early.
It's demanding work. It's not something you can take a break from. Or
rain, shine, cold.
You can't call the carrots and tell them you're not coming in today.
Right? You can't. I love that. Not calling the carrots. Hey, I'm not coming in today. You're not getting water. Yeah, that's it. It is demanding.
Yeah, it is. And there'll be people they're good until it gets hot or cold, and then that's it. It's just too much.
Yeah, I think too, people forget the dollar value of how much work you put out in order to get back a dollar amount that pays some sort of bills. You know, some sort of living, if you want to make a living off of it.
Right.
So the exchange there is very different because, in my experience, most farmers that farm, they do it because they love it, they have a passion for it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go make some money, so I'm going to hire some people, have a farm.
Right.
It's not how that works.
It's a lot of hard work to make not a top dollar in a lot of ways.
Right, exactly.
But it's important work. I mean, there's nothing more important than what you're putting in your body, because without that, you wouldn't exist. So
exactly right. So it's that important because it is literally fuel for our bodies that keeps us going, keeps us healthy, or doesn't if we don't have it, or we end up eating food from a package or a lab that is disease food. You know, that's the choice. So then if we have less farmers and less farms, we have more lab food, Franken food, you know, that causes more disease. Is that the direction that we're headed? You know? Is that the direction we want to go?
Not
Not us personally. That's why we're involved in a small organic farm.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's eye-opening to me.
Yeah. Well, I think, and Cody has brought a different level of expertise to what we're doing, and how, you know, I've always been concerned with nutrition you put into the soil will go into your food, and then now we're on a different level, and it's amazing how much I've learned in 2 weeks.
See, I
It's
love
been
that.
crazy.
How you can just get together and, you know, two heads are better than one, synergistically, really getting so much more. Because I'm sure there's things that you do that he's like, I never thought of that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's different. Wow. And vice versa. So
Absolutely.
I love that. Can you imagine if more farmers got together and just sat down talking about practices and what they're doing and ideas?
Right. Yeah, we've talked about that a bit, how
Yeah.
some people have a scarcity mindset and they're afraid to share their secrets or their ideas
Right.
because a myriad of reasons. Maybe they're worried people will take what they're doing and put them out of business, or, you know, they're worried about helping out their competitors. But I mean, I think it really would benefit everybody more to work together, not for any kind of reason other than, you know, spreading of ideas is going to help everybody.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And that sense of community.
Yeah.
You know, we have that here at the co-op, where I feel like you understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and the people that shop here do as well. And then, you know, if we found a lot of other people more information.
Yeah, exactly.
It would
So
grow.
more of a farmers cooperative type group where you could meet and chat and exchange ideas. So I know I've heard just a handful of things when you've discussed your interactions with the other maybe farmers you've come across, and it's just a very different mindset. Very, like you were saying, maybe it's we don't want to share trade secrets, or you're the competition, or whatever that is. Is odd, because pretty sure there's enough room for everyone to grow food.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't have the corner on the market for okra. It's all yours. Nobody else is getting okra but just from you.
Right.
You can't, not one farmer could grow enough okra for all the people in the area, especially if we're talking local. It's more like 300 or 400 miles.
Yeah.
Nobody could do it. Nobody could do that. You could literally have a farmers cooperative on nothing but okra. We're all going to talk about you do your share, you do yours. How does it work in your soil? I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah.
So why not like a farmers cooperative for all the farmers and exchanging ideas?
Yeah.
It's great idea.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Collect more. You may have to go a little further out if you're looking at organic, because again, unfortunately in our area specifically, we have a little bit of a food desert when it comes to organic food, and we're working on changing that, right? That's what you guys are doing.
Right.
But for now, finding those people,
Yeah.
you have to go a little further and go, we'll all have a central meeting point on a certain day once a month and meet and exchange ideas and have coffee.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's some big mystery, you know. It's not some like hidden knowledge. This is something, at least with what we're doing with farming, this is the way people have been doing it since before we started putting chemicals in the ground. This is something much more innate in people. It makes sense. Recycling is a part of it. That's the main amendment, or main thing we're putting in the soil is compost, and that's just old organic matter. And so it's not a big mystery. It's not difficult. It's something I believe that everyone's ancestor at some point had to do. You know?
Just to survive. Not, you know.
Right. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It's more not new innovation, but getting back to old ways, really, that we have forgotten or just gotten out of the habit of. You know, well, food comes to me. I go to the store. I pick it up, it's in a package or a jar or a can. It's all done for me. I open and put the heat on, it's done. But then we lose the nutritional value. We lose the connection with not just the food that fuels us, but the people that grow it for us. We lose that sense of community and that disconnect from the people, you know?
And how can you care about people you don't know?
Exactly. That's it.
Right. And
Where
when
does
you
that-
don't do that with something like food,
Yeah.
you're potentially sacrificing a really important value, you know? I mean,
Right. So that's what happens when you set out to say, I'm going to support local farming, local eating, whatever that idea is. That's really what you're kind of investing in, right?
Yeah.
Really reconnecting the people and your community. I think the impact on the local economy is what people also miss. That's really what shopping local is for everything, but specifically for food, because food is literally the roots of supporting local.
Yeah.
Literally, you know.
Right.
So if that's where your food and fuel for your body and everything gathers around, think about it, because food is social, right?
Yeah.
We have social gatherings. We go out for social things, all centered around food. Well, that's your farmer.
Put your money back into that and then see what will happen from there, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just tasting the freshness, and you know, because it is even local, is still way closer than a lot of the network that's out there.
Right.
Oh my
And,
gosh, yeah.
I mean, you can just smell it, and it's just amazing. It's really great.
Yeah,
It's
it
really
does
great.
taste different. It does. Locally grown produce tastes different. It does. And some people aren't used to it, the flavors.
Yeah.
When they go, okay, I've had kohlrabi before, I know what that is, and then they eat it locally, they're like, so much flavor. I don't know what to do with that.
Right. Or even
Literally.
something like broccoli, you know? People might be saying, what's
Exactly.
kohlrabi to begin with, so.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah. Carrots. Why do they always taste different? Well, different farmers have different things in their soil.
Right. Or people don't know that baby carrots that you get at the store are just large carrots shaved down.
Yes,
They've maybe never
exactly.
had an actual baby carrot to know the tenderness
Yes.
and sweetness of that.
And all the flavor and nutrients are packed in there.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you get when you shop local, eat local foods, locally grown foods. And then you're also shaving back that 1,500-mile travel that the average food does, you
Right.
know? From farm to plate, 1,500 miles. Oh my gosh,
Right.
so how
Which
many
is
days?
conservative for some things we get. yeah.
Totally, because a lot of it is, well, you know, we're getting food from China. That's really far.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's normal standard now. And the nutrients that you lose every mile, every day after something's picked
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, freshness is key to quality of nutrition as well as taste.
Exactly, right. So then you miss that unless you are going, okay, I'm going to really invest in my local farmers, my local backyard gardeners. I'm going to, and it's literally an investment.
Right.
That's what, because it's not just, oh, I'm helping pay their bills. You're literally putting money into your own economy to get those potholes fixed and the, you know, things in the
Exactly.
roads done and the firefighters' salary paid for. It's literally going right back into the economy.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, taking care of your own body, getting the more nutrients, getting the disease-free food, you know,
Yeah.
that takes care of you. So maybe you don't have to go to the doctor as often, and you're not going to the hospital and have illnesses as much.
Yeah.
So the investment comes back. Your return on investment is, you know, not just avoiding illness, but also just mentally and emotionally, your body is more supported when you have those nutrients.
Right.
So you even feel better on every day.
I believe so. Yeah.
So then that's really what you're getting back out of your investment when you go to eat local, because there is a price difference.
Yeah.
And there should be. We've had other conversations about how much it costs to just grow a carrot or broccoli and what goes into that.
Yeah.
So you really, then it's a budget shift, I think, for people to go, well, if this is what I'm going to invest in, my health, my economy, my family, my local, where I live, then I need to shift my budget around. And maybe I don't need the, super 900 channels on my TV, package, and I can cut that back a little and have better quality food. And yeah. So what else have you found challenges though for, because you've grown in a couple different places, right?
Yeah, I suppose the first professional job I had working on a farm was a farm called Johnson's Backyard Garden.
In Austin area, yeah.
And the man who started that actually, started in his backyard.
That's awesome.
What we're talking about.
Yeah, I love
and now
it.
they have a very sizable farm east of Austin and are very successful.
Yeah.
Teaching a lot of people about organic food and
yeah, I love that part.
wellness and living right from the inside out,
Yeah, I love that. So you've grown in that area, grown food there, grown food, now you're in Livingston. I mean, it's different.
Sure.
The climates are slightly different. The soil's got to be different.
It's cooler out in East Texas than it is out there.
Right.
It's more arid in Central Texas. It's rockier soil. They, although, were right on the Colorado River, so they've got great farmland.
Oh, yeah.
So it's different than a lot of areas in Central Texas. That's why you may not find some areas that aren't even able to farm because of the limestone base that is out there.
Right, exactly.
Which is great for things like aquifers, but not great for good deep soil.
Right. The root veggies don't like the limestone. Yeah, so then you must find different. Are you able to grow the same things, or?
Yeah, potentially we should be able to grow the same things. We're still at the beginning of this season for us, and we're having a lot come in right now.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to let you know more about that later on down the road.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, we should be able to. I mean, it's in the same zone, I do believe. So I think latitudinally, it is somewhat equivalent.
Right. But it's got to be a little different because even weather is a little different. Here we have little different threats, or in Livingston there's different threats than even here than Austin. So there's all that to contend with and think through as
Livingston felt the effects of Harvey a lot more than Austin did, for sure.
For sure, right? There's a lot of flooding, which that affects what you're growing or not growing.
Yeah.
Or what you lose. For sure. But that's all a part of local and understanding what happens. Because I think this is what happens. We get disconnected to how the dominoes fall in our own backyard, like Harvey, for example. Oh, okay, a bunch of farms flooded, houses flooded, people flooded. I still need my food, so I'm going to go to the grocery store, and you're expecting your fresh veggies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then they're clearly not coming from this area because the farmers lost all their crops. All of them.
Yeah.
So there again, the expectations and the demand supersedes what nature was trying to say. Hey, slow down. We need to invest time and energy on rebuilding not just your little house or replacing your little car that flooded, but look at
the whole community.
The food, the businesses, the fire department, the police department, if they all flooded, the land flooded. That's where you need to it's not back to business as usual. We need to get back to focusing on helping each other do this faster. I think that's what we miss when we aren't supporting local food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then we're disconnected to that whole process. And we are a part of it. And when we take that out and we just start demanding, well, look, I want strawberries in winter. Okay, well, first of all, it's not even the right season.
Yeah.
Although climate change, we're not going to go there. But second of all, where do you think they're going to come from? Yeah.
It really is a lot more expensive the way that it's all set up now, it's so that it's not more expensive, but it's a lot more expensive to think about all of the resources that go into something as simple as a bite that you take, and then you don't think about it ever again.
Yeah.
And it's been weeks months in the growing and the transporting and all of that, whereas
Yeah, that's exactly it. How much goes into the one bite? And I feel like when people make that budget shift to investing their money into local foods a little bit more, and they see it cost a little more, they're less likely to waste it. They're like, I'm gonna eat
I'm
my
gonna figure out how to use
$4
that.
lettuce. I'm gonna have the best salad ever, and I feel like they also appreciate it more. They really, really do.
and then it has that much more of an effect on you just mentally because
Exactly.
of what you believe.
Exactly. What you're putting into the thoughts that you're putting into your food comes back to you. So what are we mindlessly, numbingly, I'm thinking nothing, I'm busy, I'm stressed, we're having a conversation, I don't care about my food, throw the rest away. Well, what do you think you put back into your body? The stress, no nutrients, don't care.
Yeah.
Versus, wow, I'm having this great meal prepared by my farmer, Farmer Cody, Farmer Susie. I know these people, they have names, I even know a little bit about them. This is great, and what am I doing? I'm taking a moment to hit the refresh button for my body, mind, spirit, the whole thing, because that is what we do when we eat. I think we forget that.
Yeah.
So reconnecting.
Multitasking all
Right?
the time.
Yeah, so reconnecting all of that. It all goes into what happens when you choose to support local farmers, especially local organic farmers, really putting some intention into their practices.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, like I said, it takes, in a lot of ways, less work. These are just things that are all around you. These things that feed the plants, that feed us.
Right.
I
It's probably seeing it and going,
Balancing.
I can work with that. Oh, look.
mean,
Yeah, and relearning old ways. Like you said,
that's something else that is kind of interesting. You said the average age is 58. I know you know some older farmers.
Yep.
It's like a whole generation of people that have been molded in, more than a generation, but those elders are passing on skill sets that their elders would have never believed in or looked upon the way that whole generation does.
Right. That's
And it's not that obviously it works, but it would be cool if one day there was a whole generation of farmers for people to look up to.
Yeah,
So
right.
this is the natural way to do it. This is the way we've been doing it since we've known about farming for 10,000 years. This is the way.
Right. So do you feel
It's
like
gone.
that's what's going to happen? That we're going to get back to more of that, and because at the moment the trend is the farmers are getting older. There's less of them. Nobody wants to get into it. Is that going to turn around?
I don't know.
I kind of feel like climate change has gotten everyone's attention. And then we start to think about, well, what are the effects? What are we doing to affect that? And certainly food and our practices with food is a huge part. Are we pouring the pesticides and the herbicides that just ultimately, we're just destroying the waters and the land and the soil, and then it's just bigger and bigger. Now climate change, just there it goes. And can we go, are we going to hit that point where we wake up and we go, let's change it? And then like you said, let's have that point where we have the elders passing down the information, going, this is how you do it.
Right.
Back to it, shifting back.
Hopefully. I don't think that it is, I don't want to be idealistic and just say, that's the hope, but I think that everything is stacked against people of this kind of mindset, honestly. I think that's why things are the way they are, is because
I'll just go to Walmart.
the public policy,
It's
the public...
organic, and you're like,
Right.
but it's not the same as what we do. It isn't.
Right.
And you can
It's
tell,
not the
like,
same.
side-by-side comparison.
Right, when
But
you
you
get
can't tell
like
somebody
organic Walmart produce side by side to the local stuff that you're doing, and you can sit and have the conversation with your farmer. Oh, what do you use in your soil?
Right.
You're right. It's
But
not
we're
the
smaller
same.
scale. We couldn't do it for that price ever.
Right.
Ever.
Oh.
So then that's the big companies that are squeezing out even more.
But I do think as time goes on, it will be revealed that the difference between the two will become more stark. And
Right.
people, it'll be harder to refute.
Yeah. Well, it's
The facts.
education, right? And getting the awareness out there to people to go, hey, have you stopped and thought about it for a minute? That process?
Yeah, I mean, or come out to the farm and really see how we do it, and you'll be like, wow,
Yeah.
that feels good. It just does feel
Right.
right, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's what more people see. This is the idea if you get that farmers cooperative going.
Right.
That the ideas of, hey, what about opening our farms for people to come visit and look and have a volunteer on the farm day or something, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ideas would flow synergistically,
Right.
and then people go, oh, that's what it entails. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Well, and like you
See the
used to
value.
get veggies at the end.
Mhm.
Was it the week or the
Mhm.
day? I mean, they got a box of fresh veggies for their time, and
Yeah,
then you
right.
go, wow, I grew that, and I remember planting that seed, and you,
Right?
It's really gets me hooked when you see that little seedling, and you're like, it's so cute.
And I think it also
And you
gives
go,
people,
it's amazing, it tastes so good.
Yes. I think it also gets people to try new foods or not new foods.
Right.
Foods they normally have become very picky. I have a picky palate because, you know, I like the chemical tasting food
Yeah.
more and the sugary food.
Well, it's really sad because we
Yeah.
don't know what real food is. And it's as basic as that.
That's what happens when you go back to local eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go, radishes, I don't like radishes, they're so spicy. Okay, if you spent how many months growing it from seed, looking at it come up, all of a sudden you're like, it's so pretty. Yeah, I think I do want to
Yeah.
try it, you know? Then you
Uh-huh.
find recipes and ways
Yeah.
to work with it, and then your body's getting what locally, seasonally it's supposed to have.
Right.
It's meant to have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like even onions. We grew onions last year, and I was like, these are crazy good. These are crazy good.
Yeah.
Why? It's just an onion, you know?
Mhm.
It's the same brand you can buy in the store, same variety, and it just tastes totally different. It just is
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, I like that idea of getting back to that and helping people understand and reconnect to the food.
Yeah.
Like you're talking too seasonally about eating local, that really does help your immune system be more adapted to the environment you're in. If you're eating the things that are creating those pollens and those things that you're allergic to, it's exposing your body to it in a minimal, almost medicinal way, and it really does help out. People have found that to be true.
For
We were
sure.
talking about that the other one
Yeah.
of the other podcasts.
Yeah, it's really
I wonder,
true.
you know, yeah. So
It
that's-
is so true.
I
When
believe
you eat seasonally, locally, your body's getting everything it requires and needs to sustain itself where you live. If you're going to live here
Mhm.
in this environment,
Well,
This
think
is
about how
and
odd
the
that
time
is.
of year, and the
For
time
all
of year,
of
right?
all of history, for all of time, any animal where it's lived is getting food from where it's living.
exactly.
How
Yes.
odd it is that most
Nature.
people nowadays don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How odd, how strange.
It
And how
is.
strange that most people never even think twice about it. Never have to think twice about
Right.
it. And that's why they don't. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But like,
So-
yeah, what's growing right now? Root vegetables and leafy greens, right? And then
Yeah.
people go, well, I'll get back to you once you have vegetables. And you're like, we have vegetables.
Those are vegetables. Those are the
And
ones
maybe
you need
that's
to get
what
to.
we're appropriately should be eating at this time of year.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those greens have so many immune boosting qualities,
Mhm.
people forget
Yeah.
just exactly what they can get from that.
Right.
Full on, like, calcium.
anything that you get
yeah.
from a supplement, you can get from the plant, which
Yeah,
is where they
exactly.
derived it from, probably. Initially.
Exactly.
And you know your body can process it.
Yeah, right. And there's no fillers and things you can't pronounce this long
Yeah.
in your vitamin supplement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it's way more fun.
Yeah. Right?
But I mean, people think you're a better cook because you have the fresh ingredients, and maybe you don't know that it's locally grown or whatever, but
Yeah. Right.
you know,
Right.
it's like, wow, this is really amazing, you know, and
Yeah,
it has to do
exactly.
with the quality of the ingredients.
I didn't turn my phone off. Sorry, guys. Now we're recording a phone call. But so I'm really glad though that you guys took some time to come out and
We appreciate
talk
it.
about this a little bit. I love this. We'll have to do this more. Do you have any more to add before we?
Farmers Co-op.
I like that idea. Yes. I like it.
Farmers, what would you call it, Cody?
I have
Meeting
no
of the
idea.
mind.
Cooperative. I love it because that's Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, so we need to get other people involved in growing or wanting to grow or farming or wanting to get involved in what that is like to go, hey, let's gather the minds.
Come out to the farm.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, don't know how to stop, and I'm over here going, ah!